In our previous discussions, we have discussed about what is heat. Heat is a form of energy, what we call as thermal energy. Then we discussed what are the different units for measuring heat, that is Celsius, Kelvin and Fahrenheit. Then we discussed about different types of clinical and laboratory thermometer. Today we are going to discuss how this heat travels. How is the heat being transferred from one body to another or from one place to another? So for the movement of heat, the primary condition required is temperature difference. There should be a difference in the temperature so that the heat should flow. Heat will always travel from a point of higher temperature to lower temperature. Now we have three different modes of transfer of heat. One is conduction, convection, radiation. In conduction, the heat travels via direct contact. That is, in conduction, the molecules of the substance, they are going to conduct the heat whenever there is a direct physical contact. Like if the pan is put on the gas stove for cooking, the pan gets hot, and even if you leave a metal spoon inside it, it will also get hot. Now the heat is getting directly transferred from the fire to the pan and from the pan to again to the metal spoon. This is how conduction occurs. Next is convection. It occurs from in gases and liquids. And another one is radiation, which does not require any medium for transfer of heat. Today we will be discussing about conduction. Conduction is the mode of transfer which occurs majorly in solids. Here when the substance gains the heat, the energy of the molecules, it starts increasing. So the molecules, they start vibrating at their own place. They are not going to move from their place. I am repeating it, molecules are gaining the energy and they are transferring only the energy, not the molecules. The energy will be transferred to the neighboring molecules. This is how heating will be done to the whole substance. Like if I am heating a metal rod, the part which is coming in contact with metal rod, it is getting heated first. These molecules, they are going to start vibrate at a faster pace, which is not visible to our eyes, but this heat energy is going to flow from that end to the another end after a span of time, that you will start feeling that the whole metal rod is turning to be hot and you will not be able to hold it. This is what it happens when we are handling metal utensils. They get hot and we can't touch them. We need something to hold them so that we don't feel the heat of that substance. Otherwise, we might burn our hands. So here comes the two substances. First is conductors and another is insulator. Now the metal pan in which we were doing the cooking, it is getting heated. That means it is allowing the transfer of heat. That means it is a good conductor of heat. What is a conductor? Conductor is a substance that transfers the heat very well. It allows the transfer of heat easily. So all the metals are good conductors of heat. Now what is an insulator? If I talk again of that metal pan, you must have seen in your kitchen some metal pans or kadhais, what we call woks. These are having handles which are covered sometimes of plastic or of wood. What is the purpose of this? So that when we are handling them, our hand doesn't get burned. Because this plastic or wood handle is not going to turn hot. So you can handle them comfortably. So the wood, paper, plastic, foam, these are all examples of materials which do not conduct heat, or what we call, they are poor conductors of heat, and the term used for them is insulator. So we have two types of substances now, conductors and insulators. Now how does this conduction occur? Conduction occurs through the substances called as conductors, as I told you. It occurs without the movement of molecules. Molecules are not moving, they are only vibrating, they are only colliding with each other. It occurs in solids. Applications of good conductors of heat. Now, like if I make a pan of plastic or wood only, you will be able to cook the food? No, because it is an insulator. It is not going to conduct heat. We are making utensils out of metals because they are good conductors of heat. So we need, because we need to cook our food fast, so we make the utensils of a material which is a good conductor of heat. In our previous discussion, we discussed about mercury, which is used in thermometers. Mercury, again, it is a good conductor of heat. As soon as it senses heat, it starts expansion and it helps to take the reading of the thermometer. Next is car radiators. Car radiators are also made up of iron. Why? Because whatever heat is generated inside there in the engine, that is liberated out through these radiators. These iron is a good, it is a metal, it is a good conductor of heat, so it will conduct the heat to the surroundings and it will help to cool it down. Now bad conductors of heat also have certain applications. Even I will say they have more number of applications, like handles of utensils and kettles, as I told you. Woolen clothes. Woolen clothes are bad conductors of heat. Woolen fibers, they have lot of air spaces between them. Now air here is a insulator. It is a bad conductor. This trapped here does not allow the body heat to escape out. In winters, what happens outside, it is temperature is low, we feel cold. Now when we are wearing woolen clothes, these fibers, they have the trapped air. They will not allow your body heat to escape out, so they help in keeping our body warm. Building materials like bricks and asbestos, mud, they are also very bad conductors of heat. That is why they help in maintaining the temperature of the place. Next is hair and fur of animals. You must have observed and studied that the animals which live in colder regions, like in the mountainous regions, they are more enriched with fur. Why? Because the fur and hair of the animals, it again has lot of air trapped in it. Air is an insulator. It helps the animal to keep the body warm. It does not let the body heat of the animal to go out. Refrigerators, ice boxes, these also, they have double walls. Double walls mean two walls, in between the two walls they have some insulating material. Again, it could be cork or something like that, which is filled, which does not allow the outside heat to enter inside the refrigerator. Now igloos. On what concept are the igloos made? What keeps the igloos warm? See, the igloos, they are made up of the bricks made of snow. And you must have seen the snow. If you have eaten that ice one, that person, he crushes the snow, that crushes the ice and forms the snow, and he then packs it up into a particular shape and puts some juices on it and give it to you, right? Similarly, in an igloo, this crushed snow, it is again packed into the form of bricks. Now when this snow is getting packed in the form of bricks, it has lot of air in them. These air spaces, they act as insulators and help in maintaining the temperature of the igloo also warm. So today we discussed about the process of conduction, how does conduction occurs, various applications of conductors and insulators, the two different types of materials. Conductors conduct heat and insulators do not conduct heat. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.